Now I may be quite very good to use onto the weather radar for this race menu is going to be quite very brand new. Over there, there's also the hub. Tokyo is now actually to be highlighted to be located right over here as the cursor is now being circled around onto this location. By zooming out in the hub country of Japan, but everything is going way wide larger to be quite very to be expected. And even zoom in as you may ever see any other track. Unlike any other location around the world is very much more fine, excellent to have a real life and fictional all together in Gran Turismo 7. So gonna have to be experienced and test out for the FF5 Honda Civic Type R that has a very good, excellent, stunning performance to go by around in over 300. So let's race and go for car tryout number 2 will be tested and experienced to have a brand new model just like the FK8 model. So let's give it a go and have a good look on the inside to this right hand interior view on the steering wheel. This looks so very different just like the FK8 model. But the lateral G's is now being seen to be using it when you're inside onto this detailed view. Kinda amazing, right? First time ever to see that kind of a car that features to have that stunning technology to go with lateral G's. But very vibration, but giving some good excellent steering response to be capable to be using as a GT500 spec version to be part on next year's Super GT season. So I have to keep it careful because I just gonna have to do this part of driving experience to test this new Civic out. But this one just actually come out from last year to see this brand new vehicle is very much more challenging unlike the previous as a successor. So gonna have to go up, gear shift onto number 3 before going up onto 4. Gonna have to overtake Lorenzo in the Land Evo X. Watch out by the pace and stay carefully. Unlike all-wheel drive cars, but FF is putting up with some new challenges by adding up with some improved performance. We'll be going much more bit faster to have differences between understeer by the difference. However, because all-wheel drive and FF that might have an even match to go for having a thrill battle showdown that we'll have to see how it tested and go all the way for having a good excellent top speed by around between in 125 and going around in 145 miles per hour. But actually because that will be going much more further top speed average to go around in over 135 miles per hour. So gonna stay on track and make my way to get closer to Scott in the Dodge Viper SRT10. Yeah, that's a very good turbocharged Civic. First lap down, going proceed on lap number 2. Okay, gonna dive in. Technically, a new cool vibration to have a new Civic is all about making a perfect comeback that could be quite going much more participate to be on touring cars. However, because it may be quite very correction and very good to be true. Custom parts to be featured onto this new Civic is also to be exclusively available on the GT Auto. Without the custom wing set, it'll have to go wingless, Type A and B altogether. So gonna have to go overtake at Courtney and Zoe. Next up, Sugar in position 6 in the BMW M4. Gonna give it a go and feel the understeer. The handling, respawn, and cornering is very much more improved. To have that road going Civic is definitely might have some different ways to go lateral G's. So heads up, monitor surveillance alert because rain coming in at any minute. Just in time, and have a good look to have some clouds are about to be covered the skies around in the track. It looks like party guy Jeb is in the lead in the Chevy Camaro, along with Lashana in the Lexus LC500, followed by Justin in 3rd place. Now it'll have to go up on gear number 5. Gonna stay on track. Go by focusing with 2 Lexus and Aston Martin. But I still got a keep watchful eye on this part of the clip on the duration because blurry part may happen all the time. Final lap, up I go. Slipstream and overtake. For Honda fans, this brand new Civic is all just for you. Perfect moment to go participate in the lap time challenges at the Nürburgring and Suzuka circuit itself that I'm about to be currently using it. But speaking of which, because a matter of time to go practice, because doing exercise is going to be a bit more practice and challenging to get there. Alright, gonna have to stay on track and get closer to Justin and Jeff. They still got a lot of better horsepower to see how 2 of them can actually to take up with a brand new Civic. It'll be more challenging and see how the FR is gonna get more oversteer to see the FF will do the understeer by the action. Haha, nice try. Oh, I can see some braking pressure to stay on hold. Justin's in the lead, Jeff's in 2nd, and still in the 3rd. Gonna have to keep pushing. Make that good efficient and brake onto the spoon curve. Okay, that's a good one. But more importantly, that I just already took the lap time by 2 minutes, 36.171 seconds. That will be doing much more fine, perfect to do a practice session to go for having a lap time trial event. But here comes the final lap. Come on, just gonna have to take home the final stretch. He's already took home the podium, folks. And Justin takes the win. Alright, looks like practice complete for the new Civic. Very good to see how the FR always dominate to this day. But more importantly perhaps, it'll have to go way more faster to add up with some more parts to go challenging and tires to be more improved specifically. But I'll have to take 2nd place, that is. Very more impressive and doing some new experience to have a good Honda Civic to go brand new. So my appraisal rating for the FL5 2022 is good to be 100% complete. But after all, experiencing to have new cars for the updates is always about to have something else to test your skill, your potential, and experience to see which one of the 3 cars that you like the most. But not yet at least, because the 3rd one is going to be having a Group 4 competition as I'm about to go with a Mazda 3 Group 4. So I'll have to skip this part on the replay for having a dumb new image. There you go. There you go. Thumbnail picture perfect is complete on car test number 2 for this update, and then replay will be saved as well. But unfortunately, because that might have to do a dirt one to be ever yet, as I'm about to be going experience with the Mazda 3 Group 4 is actually based from the real going variation from the May update. But talk about having a good, excellent reminder notice as I'm about to go enter to be at High Speed Ring. So let's go over there and go for the GT Cup Group 4 edition to be tested and go for having a 1 selection on the Mazda 3 Group 4. But one last thing, because it'll have to add up with the power restrictor and the ballast will have to be on the main requirement to be on the adjustment. So go on the detailed settings and have a good check, because this will have 6-speed transmission to go by default as a Group 4 car. 380 horsepower might be quite very good to have an improved performance point, but however, you'll have to go by tuning into at least 630.8 performance point to be on the reduced amount. So you'll have to go tune by tune, see how it works comfortable. Alright, all set and good to go. Then let's have a good test and go for 5 laps. As for Mazda fans who have been experienced about the Mazda 3 Group 4 car, as you may ever see from this part of the Mazda Spirit Racing competition, is now being shown on the leak image. But that would be quite very true, and this might have a new addition to the Mazda Group 4 car along with the Atenza. But 2 Group 4s in one Mazda brand is actually to have a good shareable type between Group 3 and Group 4 cars is perfectly all together by having 2 selections per class. So let's have a good check on the weather radar on High Speed Ring. Way much more interesting to have a good place to be seen on this location up north of Japan. Very fantastic. So gonna have to zoom out and zoom in, but clearly each part of the location on track around the globe is definitely might have an image view is now currently to be seen. But thank you Liberty Digital. This update is now being shown on the weather radar for having a good excellent opportunity to see some lookout between onto the clear skies and cloudy with a few chance of rain. So let's give it a good test and give it a go and see how the Mazda 3 will have to go FF racing action to face up with some FR, MR, and all-wheel drive. For this interior view, the Mazda 3 is now becoming as a race car for having a Group 4 regulation. Newest addition to be part on GT7 as excellent to see how the Mazda Atenza would be more likely to take on with the same car on the Mazda 3. But skills are made to do it, because FF cars is definitely the key of understeer. But you know something else that has a good set of customization on GT Auto? The Mazda 3 is now actually to be included to have some different set of wing style by going wingless, Type A, and Type B all together to see some differences will have to go in different update by performance. That's how, just like the Nissan Silvia S15 touring car, but that wing part is actually to have a good sporty hatchback is still yet to be used before becoming as a touring car vehicle. The style, the competition, and some changes onto the interior view is now being converted into a GT4 race car is perfectly to have an FF car to this moment. So it'll have to go faster to stay on track to be proceed on lap number 2. Gonna go hard and beat oversteered cars to go at it. Okay, there we go. Turn 2 to go perfectly. So BMW M4 and McLaren 650S Group 4s might have to stay together. It may be packed with a turbocharge is now being included. It'll have to go enter to have an understeer to have a nice way to go for the perfect line. That's how you guys might gonna have to use this one for the GTWS Manufacturers Cup. Is gonna be a very good time to go for round 2 at Dragon Trail Seaside by the reverse direction. So I'll have to stay on track and catch up to the GT by Citroën and BMW M4 in the Group 4 cars. Very made as Gran Turismo original, but it may be quite very good to have a nice Mazda Spirit Racing livery to go in official white. Come on, just gonna have to get closer and make my way on to first. Go for turn 2 and take it to the understeer. Come on, just gonna keep going and feel the master for this third Mazda. Whenever you're gonna master the Mazda 3 Group 4, now's the time and practice for the GTWS Manufacturers Cup. If you already have the Mazda Atenza Group 4 to give your best choice, your best pick, and your best excellent performance on drivetrain. All-wheel drive and FF, that would be quite very good to be in common between the Atenza and Mazda 3 in the same Group 4 car. Different technology of racing competition, and that will be a very good newest addition to the Group 4 category. Unlike the road car, but perfectly to have a nice racing car that features to have a wing customization is now yet to be in used. So gonna have to keep going on the straight after turn 2. Almost there. I got to bring home the podium and beat the BMW M4 in the FR layout. Let's see how the FF can actually gonna have to go hard and bring home the podium. But it'll have to go harder than this. It needs to have more speed and acceleration. So far so very close, but this one considers as a third car test. But not yet over, because I'm getting closer to the final lap. Let's kick it to the high gear and go back into the first position to have a nice excellent grip to be on the understeer advantage. Hold it in. Hard turn on the left at turn 2. As you may ever check on the record time to be clear for only one lap, you may see the total time on the fastest by the average or your best time that you might gonna have to keep your progress on racing. That's how this interior view is stunning and very brand new, unlike the Atenza Group 4. But the time progression is now actually to be shown by having a real time. But that will be quite very good to be amazed to see how you can master and experience with the Mazda 3 Group 4. So almost there. Make my way to the final stretch. Gonna pack up the RPM, and first place is now to be claimed. That is so fantastic to see the FF dominate at high speed ring in the GT Cup Group 4 edition. unlike any other FF cars, but hopefully that would be going more likely to see if the Volkswagen Scirocco, Passat RCZ Group 4, and even of course to have some all-wheel drives like the Subaru WRX Group 4 and Genesis G70 Group 4. But after all, FF cars are looking for a new challenger, and that will be quite very good to be amazed and have a good stunning of perfection. So first place is now being achieved and complete. One clean race is now being served, and looks like roulette ticket is now being complete. Alright, so I'll have to get back on track and catch up with you guys. So I had to skip the replay for another captured thumbnail image, but hopefully it was a lot of fun out there to experience for the Mazda 3 Group 4, unlike the real car version, is still very good. From an all-wheel drive to an FF for competition is actually to be having a good perfect use for only one make race series, and even of course to be exclusive to be take part in the GTWS Manufacturers Cup. So I guess 3 new cars are now being well done, because I have been tested out with a Toyota Hyperion for a while since having some ongoing progress for having a lap time challenge. But anyhow, because it was so fantastic to have this update, is very much more experience to have of new ways and location on the weather radar in the race menu is now actually to be introduced. So I hope this is going to be quite giving a one-stop buy for this update. 2 brand new menu is now being stopped at the GT Cafe. So let's have a good check and see some character interactions is now actually to be well shown on the Gran Turismo website. So let's go on the extra menus to scroll down. Here we have extra menu number 29 is Porsche Supercars, and extra menu number 30 is GR. Initially stands for Gazoo Racing, made by Toyota. So very good to have 3 Porsche Supercars and 3 Toyota Gazoo racing vehicles like the GR Yaris, GR Colora, and GR 010 Hybrid. Acquired, check, and waiting for having a highlight to be brand new. So I hope this is going to be quite good to have a heads up notice before heading back to the GT garage to have a surprise notification from Sarah. But reaching up by over 300 cars, that is, that would be quite good to be established to continue on. How absolutely amazing! Hyperion-Blue-GT, your car collection now contains 400 cars. Sweet! 400 cars is coming in a long way for having a long progress. So far so good, because you'll have to keep collecting more by 100 more to go. why not go and check them out in all their glory? It's quite the sight. This should be definitely earned you bragging rights around your friends. I think everyone's going to be blown away by the collector you become. Indeed that is, Sarah. Indeed that is. So, 4 new cars is now actually to be having some good progress to coming a long way by over a year later. So, by 400 cars, and that means I just currently to be having 402 vehicles collected. Just to have a few more vehicles to go to be unregistered to be on the car index. So let's have a good check on the Honda Civic Type R, Type FL5 2022. Driving feels comes first. The legendary R badge returns for the 11th generation Civic. I guess that would be quite very true because this FL5 Honda Civic is now actually to become as the 11th generation. Because this vehicle has now actually just keep evolving all the way. So very legendary to see this Civic is now putting up to have a 2-door, is now being considered as a 4-door sports car to have a nice modern Japanese vehicle. Because all that work, performance, and the Type R engine is still yet to have a nice inline 4 20C unit with a 2.0 liter turbocharge. It still have much more perfectly to be participate for having first ever Honda Esports Challenge is now going to be available on the lap time event. So on to the Mazda 3 Group 4. Exploring the potential of internal combustion, a next generation biodiesel powered race car. Very true, because on the description, this Mazda 3 Group 4 is a Gran Turismo original model, aesthetically based on the Super Taiiku spec race car, is very more successful to the Mazda 3 bio concept. But it is actually to become as the Mazda 3 bio concept car is the next generation biodiesel race machine, created, developed for real world testing in the 2023 Super Taiiku Endurance Race Series. But this one on the performance engine has now actually to have a 2.2 liter Sky Active D unit. 100% biodiesel made from used cooking oil. I kind of say because that is very more impressive to see this Group 4 car is becoming a biodiesel race car for the first time ever in automotive history. And oh yeah, I might gonna have to check the details on the Chevy Cobra 427 1966 from yesterday as I just went down to do some progress and save it of course to be on my Twitter account. Now for the Garage RCR Civic, a Time Attack Civic customized in the classic JDM style. So very good tuner and base model from the EG Honda Civic. But I bet you guys still thinking about the real car version to this Honda Civic in the EG model. It has more professional tune and Gran Turismo award that has 589.79 performance point in the FF drivetrain layout. So impressive, and even perhaps to have some differences to put up with some different set of custom parts and accept the wide body is still yet to be remain is currently as well. Well, I can't say this folks, what a hard day and productive for having a main part to go for this encore content video, but I'll have to take care of it myself because development is a development for the September 2023 update as I had to go down for having some major changes and development on my own. So what do you guys think about the update to have 3 new cars? It's all about FF drivetrains for having a good masterpiece collection. Real car, tuner car, and race car all together. 2 Hondas and 1 single Mazda in the Group 4 category is designed for the competition. So give your thoughts questions, and even some more comments to think about these kinds of 3 vehicles. But yet, I might have to keep going and stay on track to go wrap this up at the end of the video. But in the meantime, during this part of the WIP session from here until now, I'll have to make sure and go all the way to have a main forward to have some major ongoing development for myself, as the struggle will have to keep pushing as the tables will have to turn. So I'll have to leave it to myself as always, but this update, and yet of course because one other thing, 5 new set of the engine on every 5 Porsche vehicle is now being available on the GT Auto. So I had to take a good look because it's about to get much more pretty interesting and surprising to have 5 specific Porsche vehicle is now compatible on engine swap. So you guys might gonna try it out and see how it feels. But looks like September is about to come to an end after finishing with Total Drama Pocketail Island team variations with Floating Salmon and Confused Bears, and then Total Drama Island reboot in 2023 is coming up until September, so keep an eye out folks. Development and early access is going to be available on my Patreon page. Thank you for enjoying watching the video on Gran Turismo 7. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, and click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Don't forget to check it out on any social media platforms like DeepNet Art, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Discord, and more to see for my own image artwork like UDRS liveries, Vision Total Drama fan art with card liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be see you guys next time on Gran Turismo 7, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean. Alright, well, man, what a stressful day, so I might gonna have to get down to do some editing to have 2 of them to be fixed and update.